Hello, everybody, and welcome to our SMPTE Toronto January meeting. For this meeting, I'm going to turn it over to Paul Briscoe immediately here to share some respectful words to honor a remarkable person and a remarkable life.
Thank you, Roy, and thanks for a moment or two of time to cover this. I think it's very important. Good afternoon, everyone. As Roy said, my name is Paul Briscoe. I'm in Toronto. I want to tell you a little bit about a good friend of mine and a good friend of Toronto SMPTE and a good friend of so many of us on here. Um, a friend I had met some years ago, just before I joined Leach in 1994. And in fact, we had met somewhere before that, probably possibly SMPTE. I'm not sure where, but my first encounter with Randy, really in a big way, was when I joined Leach in '94. He had joined, and don't tell me I can't advance a slide. There we go. There's Randy. He had joined a little earlier than me. I joined in the fall. I think he joined in the spring or summer. And he'd heard all about me because I'd been doing some work with Leach before that when I was at CBC. Um, and he joined the company as a product manager. I joined as a product engineer, and he hunted me down when I arrived and welcomed me with big open arms. How you doing? Great to see you. Welcome to Leach. We're going to have great fun. And boy, did we. These were the early days of SDI, and we were rocking. The company was doing great. We had just done an IPO. The money was rolling in. We were starting work on HDTV well ahead of the rest of the industry in compressed systems, fiber optics, and so on. And we were having a ball. Randy and I, well, we hit it off. He was welcoming, he was friendly, he was interested in me. He was just a super nice guy in this company. And through him, of course, I got to meet all the people he'd already met and befriended. And although we didn't work directly, at least at first, we had ongoing contact in the company. We were, nearby each other proximally. And anytime we passed, we'd share a word or a comment. And we just became very friendly. Later on, we worked a lot more directly. The products he managed, the wonderful X platform, which evolved into Selenium, and work my teams did, things on format conversion, timing, things like that. We were able to collaborate very directly, and for the next 20 years, uh, we worked together. I guess almost 10 years ago now, Randy received an unfortunate cancer diagnosis with a very discouraging prognosis. The prognosis was measured in months, and we were all shocked and horrified. But Randy toughed his way through the treatment, and a fair bit, with great difficulty, but then some results. And the results were that he gained years of reprieve. With a few little tweaks along the way, Randy regained a great deal of his prior health and was able to carry on with things he enjoyed, which I'll tell you a little bit about in a second here. However, last fall, he had a recurrence, and it wasn't like before. It was unfortunately something that could not be resolved, and this unfortunately led to his passing on the 10th of January this year. So let me tell you about an amazing person. He was passionate about his work, our industry. He loved working in our industry. He loved the fact that media and technology went together. He was a pure technologist, but an artist at heart. And he was also very passionate about SMPTE. Randy was easy to work with. He was open. He was direct. He was very authentic, imaginative, progressive, thoughtful. All the things you want in somebody you're talking to, whether it's about the weather or whether it's about a complicated problem at work. And he was behind many developments that led our industry for a long time and still do. And he was loved, and he loved his work friends. Everybody thought Randy was great, and he got along, I swear, with everybody. Now, I'm not sure when he and I became fast friends, but I'll share a little story. And I think it was around this. It was at an NAB in Vegas, around Y2K plus or minus. And it was after the show one day, and I'm walking back through the casino of our hotel, and I see Randy. And he's standing at a railing at the top of a little ramp between levels, leaning across the railing to a little cafe table that was there with a couple of executives sitting at it. I don't even remember who at this point. My mind is now blank on this event, and you'll see why. And I'm walking up behind Randy up this ramp, and I wanted to, as I went by, as we would do, say hi or give him a poke or something, but he was engaged in conversation. So to announce my presence as I went by behind him, I just reached over and with the thumb and forefinger of each hand, I grabbed, just around pocket level, the outside seam of his trousers and gave it the gentlest little tug so he'd feel it. And I carried on. And about, I don't know, 10, 15 meters later, I turned around. And this photo is representative of what I was facing. It was Randy looking at me with his trousers around his ankles. Evidently, the belt wasn't working so well that day, and I had dropped his drawers. So if you can imagine this with his bare legs sticking out underneath, this is what I faced, looking at me, pointing at me, going, ah! And I gave him back, I guess that, I don't know, emoji look, and kept going. And we both broke into laughter as I walked away, and he stood there and pulled his pants up. And ever since then, we were just the closest of friends. But there's a lot more to Randy than his work. Music was his passion. Randy was a pretty good piano player, far better than me, and he was a key figure in the Leach, then Harris, then Imagine B-Stock band, played every year at NAB in a rented dive bar in Vegas. And like anything he put his fingers into, and with our friend Bert Burgle and the rest of the band, he organized and brought that band together for the benefit of friends and competitors, customers, SMPTE members, really whoever showed up. And they put on a show like no other. If NAB was the high point of our year, the band night toppled that by a mile. I knew about his passion. And some years ago, he cleaned out his music room. And one day, he dragged something into my office that we talked about before, and he said, "Here, give me 20 bucks." That thing was a fantastic legacy Ensoniq synthesizer, pure 1980s, dead as a post. It failed. He said, "It's all yours for 20 bucks. Want you to have it." And it's sat on a project shelf in the workshop ever since that time. It's one floppy disk drive belt away from it working, and it's going to be on the workbench soon, and I'll get it back to life. And I'll think of Randy with every key I play on it. But when he took ill, he drew focus on his music, and in that he found escape from his illness, comfort, and perhaps healing. And in fact, he and his friend Bert, our good friend Bert Bertle, carried on their musical escapades together and began to do more than just play. He spread his musical wings into writing, into composing, arranging, recording, mixing, engineering, and, thanks to the internet today, publishing their work as the Geriatrics. Now, I'll leave this up a second while people take a photo if they wish. But remember Geriatrics. It's kind of easy to reverse engineer if you just think about a bunch of old guys. But go on Spotify, go on Apple Music, and do a search for Geriatrics, and you'll see and hear Randy and his music. And it's quite fantastic. He also, during his convalescence, enjoyed long car rides. Time to himself to ponder things, clear his head, maybe write some songs, who knows? He wandered southern Ontario just enjoying life and the outdoors and the freedom of the open road, and I can just imagine the happy look on his face. But moreover, he turned his energies into helping others. He joined and volunteered on various committees of organizations that do exactly that, in particular cancer patients like himself. I can only imagine his contributions to these organizations was no different than his work ethic or his friendship. He'd be all in and a valuable and motivated contributor to their cause. He also stayed in touch with many friends, establishing talk groups where they could keep in contact and phone calls, those antiquated things we don't use much anymore. Every time I talked with him, I was apprehensive. Never sure what the news would be, but it was never about that more than I'd asked. Instead, it was about music, our industry, SMPTE, higher ideas, ideals, general BS. How am I doing? How's that new granddaughter? He wanted to know about me, like always. It was powerfully moving to find someone facing his situation who was focused on everything else. "What in the hell are you up to?" he'd ask. "How's your granddaughter? Have you heard from so and so?" Inspiring, like I couldn't imagine. Most of all, in talking with him along the way over these past years, he told me of his pride and satisfaction in reinventing himself. His experience brought him to the realization he could beneficially impact others' lives in a big way. Not just through his music, but moreover through his contribution to the work of people who had a bigger mission. One he had an understanding of, and combined with his incredible humanity, one that he could meaningfully benefit. He was also a champion of SMPTE. Early in our relationship, we knew each other were SMPTE guys, and he was in fact the one to convince me to get involved with the SMPTE Toronto board and offer my help, which I did, leading to years on the board, secretary, treasurer, uh, chair, the boot camp organizer. I went through the whole thing on the board, as so many have before me and so many continue to do today. And I've loved every minute of it, and thanks to Randy, I got that involvement going. He loved SMPTE, he loved what it represented. a collective of like-minded media experts who again had a higher calling, creating our technical standards and building a brother and sisterhood of friends with a mission to educate and enable everyone in our industry. His commitment to this goal was absolute. And while we may have argued from time to time about what and how we're doing, his dedication to the higher goal of SMPTE was always in sight, and compromise was something we'd always find as we moved SMPTE forward. But most of all, he was a friend beyond compare to so many people. One could count on Randy um, for all of the important aspects of friendship: openness, empathy, sympathy, encouragement, correction, belief in the other, and a genuine authenticity that was so bloody bare naked it was impossible to be anything else in return with him. Anytime we crossed paths, it was with an immediate smile, some lighthearted remark, and automatic conversation. This was common among his friends, just a guy you could talk to about anything and get insight, at least for me, that was honest and true to his heart. What a great friend we've shared. His SMPTE work, however, is a point of note. He was a SMPTE boother to the nth degree. You know, in SMPTE, we have this unwritten rule that any member can call any other member, and say, hey, fellow SMPTE member, can you give me a hand with something? And they will. And this describes this Randy to an absolute T, willingness to help anyone, a SMPTE member or anyone else. All they had to do was ask. Sometimes just on his realization you needed a hand, he'd reach out. The hours and days he gave SMPTE across the years are a monument to his commitment to and belief in our work, and how that sort of dedication can bring huge value to others. And he loved it. To his wonderful wife Ingrid, we offer our deepest sympathies. She's been by his side and a source of strength throughout their marriage and his recent challenges, and, as he's told me, his anchor when seas are most turbulent. Ingrid, your loss is unimaginable, but you're not alone in your grief. So many friends share that pain with you. But we also share something very unique and special, knowing and sharing ourselves with perhaps one of the nicest friends one might ever meet. We all miss him. We'll all do that forever. But he left marks on all of us. Good marks. Food for thought kind of marks. Marks that I think and hope made me a better person. He was a guy who loved his friends with all his heart, as so many of us did in return. There are no funeral arrangements. In his typical way, Randy wanted no fuss or bother. That said, he's not getting off so lightly. So between the Toronto SMPTE crowd and his broad circle of friends, there will be organized some kind of celebration at a later date in the year where we can tell stories and lies about him and revel in sharing his friendship and memory. You can be sure there will be music, and we'll be sure to let everyone know when and where that'll be held. You know, though I'm not superstitious, I do suspect there's probably something bigger going on in the universe. So I don't tend to say goodbye, but instead, and as Randy and I always said to each other, catch you later. If that turns out to be the case, I know we're going to have lots to talk about. So, Randy, on behalf of your friends, SMPTE, and all the people you've touched in your life, thank you. Your life would be a lot less rich if we'd not known you. Catch you later. Thanks for the opportunity of sharing this. Roy, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. Really touching and really well done. Really appreciate you doing that.
Thanks.
Again, quickly, and then we'll get right on with it. So some SMPTE Toronto updates. Again, a big thank you to our new gold sponsor, Lavo. Really appreciate the support. Thank you. Thank you. Some SMPTE Toronto updates. We are next social meetup. We're really enjoying these and the social aspect. So please come out if you can. Wednesday, February 4th, anytime after 5, just stop by. It's casual. We just enjoy each other and share stories. So Steam Whistle Brewing, February 4th. It's very close to Union Station. Not a long walk in the cold required. Also, please, if you haven't already, our LinkedIn page is growing quickly. So please, if you get a chance, please follow us. We are all hard at work planning our boot camp for 2026, both focused on sports. The title is Game Changers, the Future of Sports, Live Production, and Fan Experience. Also, our SMPTE elections are coming up, so please, if you are interested in joining the board, we would love to have you. And there is an industry event happening on January 31st. Want to let everyone know it's a display evaluation summit. So some very high-end displays from Sony, Flanders, and Flanders is here today giving a presentation, AZO and ASUS. And that's the address here. The URL there as well, if you're interested. There is a cost of 129, but wanted to share that. Also, a big thank you to SMPTE Montreal um, for helping promote and collaborate, promote our meetings. Um, also, thank you to Wabi. Also, in the fall, two of our presenters had presented at the SMPTE Montreal Boot Camp, and they were awesome. We received very positive feedback from our fall presentations. We covered HTML graphics, we covered DMF, MXL, all fantastic presentations. We covered multi-platform content delivery, covered HDR, so really engaging. And again, thank you for all the positive feedback. We have a February meeting coming up that is a student meeting, and that's the plans for that are well underway. Please, if you aren't already, consider becoming a member or becoming a friend of SMPTE. And I want to thank as well all of the local resellers that helped line up our presenters for today. So Upmarket, HD Source, F2, Interfax, and Synesys. And disclosure, I work for Synesys. Also, thank you to all the vendors that will be presenting today. They each have 5 minutes. It's going to be fast, right? So fewer and fewer of us are attending NAB and IBC these days. So this is an idea to give you a sense of what's new and give vendors an opportunity to present to our group with really interesting presentations, and maybe you discover some new companies, some new solutions. So 5 minutes each, and then a very quick Q&A, 1 minute or less after each presentation. And the normal SMPTE rules of not talking about specific products, those are not in play today. These vendors are allowed to talk about specific products, even price if they want to share that. Um, so the only rules are they're not allowed to compare their product to competitive products or say anything negative about competitive products. I'm sure they wouldn't anyways. And please feel free to post your questions in the Zoom Q&A. And of course, the meeting will be available on our Toronto YouTube channel. So here we go. First up, Richard K, joining all of the way from England. And I will stop sharing. And Richard, you're there? Hello, Richard.
Hello, Roy. How are you?
You're doing great. And I'll say as well to introduce you, one of the things I'm sure everyone on here would relate when we go to trade shows, along with the big booths, we love wandering the smaller booths to discover new companies. And at IBC, you were that newer company, right? Right, Richard?
Yep.
So and we like discovering people at these booths. Maybe they're an engineer who just had an idea and decided to take the plunge and make a bold move. And Richard, you are that. So please take it away.
Okay, thank you very much, Roy. Good afternoon, good evening, all, wherever we are. We don't seem to have a lot of time allocated for this, so let me just jump straight in on presentation. Badger Media, as Roy said, we are very new on the market. We actually launched at IBC. We're bringing a product to market to solve a very particular issue. So, what is the issue that we're looking to solve? So, we are looking to solve the long-standing headache that is paper labeling, in particular, with regards to the labeling of any form of infrastructure, be that broadcast, data centers, telco, and the several factors that go into that, not just the sort of physicality of having to go and update these paper labels, but also the knock-on issues that arise from the lack of accuracy with those. So that is something that we are looking to address and reduce operational incidents and reduce therefore operating costs. So the value proposition of what we bring is to be able to accurately identify and label infrastructure. We can provide live and near live status information right where signals are presented. This is absolutely ideal for remote hands calls, particularly lights out data centers, that type of thing where you've got third parties involved, or you could have a flyaway rack where you have non-technical staff to connect, and you can identify quite clearly where they need to plug up. And in a world where we're moving to, or have moved rather, to IP-based services, no longer do we just have the days of coax carrying a single signal. We now have fiber carrying multiple services. So the ability to be able to display multiple services at a particular connector is very, very intriguing. And this is an industry first. So this is Trustable. This is the product, or one of the products that we launched at IBC. It was very successful. We won an award there, which was quite an amazing for an opening weekend. And as you can see on this image, this is a 1U panel. We have typical connectors along the panel, as you'd expect to see, but we no longer have our static paper label. We now have dynamic color screens with the ability to show all sorts of information. I should add there is no connection between the electronics and the connectors. This is literally a sort of label substitution. We can align each screen to a single connector or a dual connector, as these two images show. And when we are showing a single when we have a single connector aligned to a single screen, we obviously have the entire screen that we can devote to that. So we can have a text label, which is what we have at the top here. We can have up to 4 lines of text, or at the bottom we can have an image label. And what we do here is we display an image, and then we have a single row of text. Now, the little green idents that you see here indicate that we've switched on a dynamic feature for that particular label, which then allows remote instructions and remote uploads to this, so that we can change these labels dynamically. Text can update, the status bars can update. We can even update the images within certain constraints. And we were showing this at IBC. We had a kind of pseudo confidence feed running where we had an image updating every few seconds. So this is where we have the whole screen for one connector. And this is where we share 2 connectors per screen. So we split the screen in half. Very, very similar approach, but we now use these arrow markers to ident and align the text with each connector. And we still can produce graphical and images. They are small, but the screens have very high quality and resolution, so we are able to still show relevant images. So very powerful little unit with current roadmap and software. We're not using anywhere near these features, but the screens, as I mentioned, are 190 dpi. It's a single USB-C connection for power and data. And if you do want some of the remote features, there is an optional network adapter. So the panel the product, so it can operate in 2 modes. It can be a straight label replacement, if you like, which is the top image there, standalone, and it just requires a power supply. And it will simply show the labels that have been programmed into the panel. And on the lower one, the network adapter is inserted in line, and we then bring on the network capabilities. And that's where the API and the functionality opens up the product.
And
So
Richard, just
that
yeah,
is
just give
a whistle stop tour.
excellent. Thank you, Richard. Really, really appreciate it. All
How was I
right.
on timing, Roy?
That was very good. Just a little bit over, but we don't have any questions in the Q&A,
Okay,
so we're good. Yeah. Thank you so much for joining from the UK, Richard.
no problem. Thank you, Roy.
All right. All right. And next up, Christian Schneering of Lavo.
I'll start off with a little video and then go right into the PowerPoint presentation. Let me know if you can't hear the audio.
Of all the signal processors in your facility, how many are in use right now? Half of them? Fewer? And how many are running at full capacity? Why keep the idle ones? The ones that are wasting rack space, power, aircon, and budget. Now's the time to rethink your infrastructure. Meet Lavo Home, a unified open platform for agile, scalable video and audio processing, on-prem or in the cloud. Lavo Flex licensing is the key to maximize utilization of your home. Spin up multi-viewers, audio cores, and more in seconds. Any combination, anytime, at no extra cost. New additions include Lavo's Home Intelligent Multiviewer, the Home Power Core app, and say hello to home apps powered by Lavo Workspaces, full-blown end-to-end commentary, video monitoring, and audio solutions right on any device. Maximize utilization, minimize costs, zero compromise. Lavo Home.
All right. For the ones who are not necessarily knowledgeable of who Lavo is, who has not heard about us in detail, it's a German-based company. I'm Christian. I'm based in Toronto. And who are we as a company? We're a global technology partner with innovative solution in the live media and production workflows. We offer a vast portfolio of solutions, and we're trying to open this in a unified and open platform, whether it's management control, physical I/O, processing, human interfaces, professional services, to top it all off for consulting or install. I'll get to that on one of the next slides. I talked about Home, or the video spoke about Home as our central platform that hosts all of this. But what does it actually mean for a user in the field? We still see some physical I/O out in the field. It's going to be there for a while, so whether it's a microphone of sorts, a camera, a screen, a multi-viewer, or a audio mix panel that to module audio signals. All of that, all the investment that's already in the field, as we honor this, is here to stay. We'll convert it into IP, and then where the magic happens, and we've all seen it on whiteboards, it's always happening in the cloud. So if I zoom into the cloud, which is the home portion of it, that is now software-based production. Pieces of code written for a library running on a common off-the-shelf server that can be deployed at any time for what you need it, when you need it, connecting the signals from the edge, converting into IP, processed in the cloud, whether that is on-prem, in the actual cloud, across locations. And that is part of the home approach. Now, these slices of code, as the video kind of hinted to it, could be many things. We've deployed many different applications, whether they are multi-viewers, up-down cross converters, color correction, audio mixing, DSP consoles, stream encoding, graphics insertion, and many, many more. Are all these pieces of software that you can be spun up and spun down dynamically when they need it, where they need it in your facility. The question obviously then becomes, is this a Lavo-only solution, or is this something that can be integrated, implemented in a facility where there's not a greenfield install? Yes, it can be a hybrid solution. All of our equipment works with open standards such as 2110, SRT, NDI, JPEG XS, or the audio video component with Dante. So the home platform allows connectivity to third parties, also within Lavo. Might some of you have seen it, have heard it, but not realizing it. Just to point out 3 success stories of the recent past. The European Parliament in Brussels is operating on Lavo. The MS3 Sphere, the audio video is all manipulated and processed within the Lavo enterprise. And the 2 major sports events that I'm not allowed to name by name. We all know which they are. There will be a Lavo presence there on site. So to say that Lavo has a solution in place that is deployed not only locally, domestically in Canada, but also globally on the market. And with that, how did I do in time, Roy?
Very good. Just a tiny bit over, but it's perfect. Thank
Okay,
you. Thank you so much. Really great stuff.
thank you.
Yeah. All right. And next up, Bridge Technologies, Joe Lagrasso and Rick Hansen.
I'm Joe Lagrasso and the managing director with 2110 Solutions, and I'm joined by Rick Hansen today. He's in charge of technical support with Bridge Technologies. And 2110, a little bit about 2110 Solutions. We were created as a support arm and mechanism for Bridge Technologies covering North America. And we achieved our bridge technology green wings under our logo by providing various consultations and quotations and sales support, as well as technical support, training, after sales support as well. So we focus on the whole product line of Bridge Technologies. They came around in 2004, started on the content distribution side for compressed signals over terrestrial, over satellite, over IP multicast networks, OTT, and we're still in that business, and that's going very, very strong. In 2009, they introduced the high bitrate ST2110 based and ST2022-6 SD based VB440, and the VB440 is for high core, high-end bitrate broadcast networks, and probing and analyzing all of the ST2110 service layers on the over the IP network. So there's many things. Roy has asked us to put an ocean into a cup today. So there's many features on, when you're talking about ST2110 and all of the layers, PTP, SDP. There's a ton of things we could be reviewing, network analytics, as well as all of the content flows. But today we're just going to focus on one slice of the feature set of the VB440, and that is our AV synchronization. AV synchronization was introduced about a year ago as an add-on to the signal generator of the 440. And it's a very powerful capability and measurement tool for measuring all of your AV sync. This is a problem we've all had for eons, and people have been clapping their hands and clapping sticks in front of cameras for a long time. You've all done it, I'm sure, at some point in your career. But now you can do it all over IP, over the network, and you can use multicast, and you can use the facility of the 2022-7 as well to accomplish it. So with that, if you want more information, you want more demonstration, just reach out to me at joe@2110solutions.com, and be happy to dive into the rest of the feature set, whether it's on the distribution side or on the live production uncompressed side. So with that, I'm going to stop sharing and hand it over to Rick Hansen, who's going to actually show you live, because we have a system in our data center, and he's going to show you some of the front end of the AV synchronization feature.
Hey guys, I just wanted to kind of give you a quick look at what this AV sync actually looks like. I figured I'm a visual kind of a person, so it's easiest to see how it works. So what you're looking at here is our web interface, so it's able to be accessed by anywhere via a web browser. And what we're looking at here is a test signal that we're generating here, and then you can switch between the different sources on the bottom. But what makes this unique and very beneficial is there's a barcode under here under the timing, and that is embedded into the video, and then we can process that as it goes through the whole chain and be able to tell you once you come in here what's being delayed. So if you want to reference it against your video, you can see how long the audio is delayed. Or if you're choosing, say, maybe an audio as your reference, you can see the difference from how far the video is from that. And so it's a nice, easy, quick way to get very quick response. There's very little latency, 2 frames, to be able to see what is happening within your system between your audio and video synchronization. And this is a nice way. You can feed it in different locations. As long as this test signal is going through that, the probe can analyze it and be able to show you that. So if you do make a change, it's instantaneous to what's happening, and you can be able to see it from there. So that's the nice thing. You get a lot of metrics based around that, which is added into our suite of already existing audio support. So.
And I don't know if Rick mentioned it, but it does support 2022-7 now. And we have a number of identifiers. So you can put your logo, your client's logo. There's time of day and time code as well available through the AV Sync and signal generator. HDR is supported also. And as of well, the latest release of software, we're supporting all 64 channels of audio and ancillary data. That's all shows you all of your time relationship with your video, which is critically important in live production and in sports, obviously, and entertainment in general. So with that, I think we're good. And I don't know how we did on time. Hopefully we're not too far over. And thank you. And if any questions, Joe at 2110solutions.com, be happy to show you a full-blown presentation.
Awesome stuff. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. All right. And up next, Anton Bauer, Andrew Hutton. Take it away, Andrew.
Excellent. So yes, I'm Andy Hutton. I'm the head of Anton Bauer. You probably know us, but if not, we're about 55 years old now. We're known for the onboard camera battery solutions and also in VCLX. But today, I'm here to talk about the Eden. What is the Eden? It's a battery energy storage system, and in other words, your personal power grid. Everything needs power now more than anything, and having flexible, movable power when you're out and about has become pretty key. So what exactly does this unit do? So it is a 2.5 kilowatt hour capacity unit with a 2.5 kilowatt pure sine wave continuous output and a 3.5 kilowatt peak output. Now, having the pure sine wave output is critical because obviously we use a lot of sensitive electronics, be that in lights or transmission. And what you don't want is any interference with it. The unit has also a UL and CUL 2743 certification. What that means is it has been tested for safety in regards to the electrical, mechanical, and fire protection requirements. And that is for real world environments and even abnormal real world environments, because let's be honest, we know all of our kit when it's out in the field gets absolutely abused like there's no tomorrow, so it has to be built to last. So we go above and beyond with a lot of this stuff because safety is critical for us at Anton Bauer. It has a nice wide operating range, so it will work from -10 to +60. We have had some customers use it down at -20, -25 even, but we only do guarantee it for the -10. And as you can see, it is IP65 rated. So what does that mean? You can leave it out in the snow, the rain, the dusty weather, and it will keep working. Now, why that's quite important, there is a lot of equipment now, like the lights, which are IP65 rated, and you have to have a power solution, which is also IP65 rated or more, just to ensure that there is that safety and continuity of power available. Now, the unit itself, this one is 120 volts AC. We do have 230 volts, but of course, we're up in Canada/North America now, so we have that solution for you guys. It has two NEMA 5-20R on the outputs, but it does also accept the NEMA 5-15. along with two USB-C PDs, both rated at 100 watts, and two USB-Cs at 5 volts, 2 amps. It does charge pretty rapidly. So from 0 to 100%, you are looking at about 3 hours and 40 minutes. And it can take a solar DC input. So this unit can both charge and discharge at the same time, which is quite a handy little thing. So you can really elongate out how long the unit lasts if you're out in the field and not near an electrical point. It is very quiet, as you can see. Less than 30 decibels. What does that mean? If you're in a room and someone's breathing very lightly, that is roughly 30 decibels. So it's excellent for the sound guys. And because it can charge and discharge, you can daisy chain this. It's a nice, simple system. The power cable that comes with it is the cable you use. So from the input from one into the output of the other, etc., all along, and you can stack as many as you like. It just needs a 500 watt minimum load to activate the circuit. Now, dimensions. I always get confused with Canada, but I know you guys up there are pretty good because you work in millimeters and inches. But an inch is 9.2 by 18.3 by 20.9. And if you're old like I am, it's like an old desktop PC. In reality, you can see it in the picture there being carried by some lucky chap. It has the grab handles, which also act really as a roll cage and protection. So if it gets dropped, it doesn't matter. It will just absorb all of that. It does weigh 29 kilos or 63.9 pounds. It fits very nicely inside a dolly. So you can get this out and about rapidly wherever you need it. It does come with a 2-year warranty, and there is a US dollar price of 3,699. So I think, if I'm correct, Roy, I've probably hit the mark almost.
Okay, next up is Appear and Chris Parker.
Thank you, everybody. My name is Chris Parker. I'm with Appear based in Minnesota, so almost to Canada. And my colleague Ken Gould is based in Calgary. And so wanted to give you a quick background on what Appear is, or who Appear is, and then just a quick case study we've got. So we're based and manufactured in Oslo, Norway, just like our friends with Bridgetech. We're an offshoot of Tandberg Television. We've been around since 2004 as well. We've got an office in LA and presence throughout the US, and now with Ken joining us late last year, we have a presence in Canada as well. So wanted to introduce our main product line is the X platform. So it comes really in 3 variants, a 2RU, a 1RU, and soon to be launched the half RU X5. We're very excited about that this year. And really we play in a couple different spots. So IP contribution for either JPEG XS, light compression, or HEVC, AVC. Because we're a bespoke piece of hardware, we play extensively in the firewalling and gatewaying, and we'll talk about the SRT gateway as a specific application on the next slide. We get used in, kind of muxing, demuxing, encryption, because all of the product is kind of built as you like. You can fill it with whichever cards you like. And we also do have, transcoding and satellite mod and demod, which flows into the next, really the case study. So the other half of this was a satellite receive at a couple different facilities. The goal of this project was to go from a satellite dish on the roof of every affiliate to 3 centralized points, and then SRT delivery to each of the affiliates or larger sites. In this case, it's a larger site. And then using our SRT module, we were able to take in this particular design, 300 SRT feeds with 3 of our modules. So you've still got room to spare in the SRT gateway. And then hand that off as either ASI as an option, which I've shown here, or hand it off as TS over IP to their decode stack, which was basically made up of 7 units, and you can either do traditional SDI or 2110. So the real benefits of this were obviously everything's under one roof: SRT, TS over IP, the decode under the Appear stack. And they went from 100 RU of equipment in their original design down to 16 RU, which obviously saves you a tremendous amount of cooling, ports, network switch, that type of thing. And then it was all controllable through our open API. So very excited about that solution, and we were actually fortunate enough to win some awards last NAB about that. So if you want to check that out, there is a bit more about that project. So if anybody has any specific questions about Appear, Ken Gould, who's on the call as well, would be more than happy to answer those. Thank you.
Next up is Leader Fabrics, Stephen Holmes.
So we also have Joe Castellano, who is our business development manager for the Canada region. I am the application engineer. I take care of all trouble calls, all anything related technically for all of Leader and Fabrics for the Americas. So Leader's been around since 1954. A lot of people don't realize how old Leader actually is. In 2019, Leader acquired Fabrics. So Fabrics is part of Leader. So we consider it one company with three different brands. We have the Leader brand, Fabrics brand, and now the joint effort of Leader and Fabrics both coming together to create products. The newest product that Leader has created is the LPX 500, which is a 4-input waveform monitor that can do 4 12G inputs or 4 25 gig inputs, or actually beyond that, it's got 100 gig reach, because if you're going to do 4 UHDs, that doesn't fit in a 25 gig pipe. So it is a really unique waveform monitor in that you can put any input into it you wish, be it SDI or IP, and mix the analyzers throughout, and very, very robust, being able to, and no reduction in services or functionality in doing that. It also has a side monitor or a dual extended screen, and you can spread the analyzers across either screen. So you could actually have waveform on the left and picture on the right from the same input, or move the tiles and have them anywhere you want. You can put up to 16 tiles per screen. So you could actually have 32 different analyzers running on any combination of 1 through 4 inputs in the unit. It has automatic horizontal layouts, quad split, and vertical splits, just to make your life easy, so you don't have to move all the tiles around. You can just click a button and the 4 inputs will be put into those particular, or you can go full screen on any one and actually switch between anything that you want. We still have the Leader Zen series, which is one of our rocks of the company. The 5600W is our 4-input waveform monitor that can do SDI 2110, typically used in post QC HDR. It's used a lot in the EIC in trucks. We have the rasterizer version, and then the remote head for the rasterizer version. We still have the 5300 line, which is the small scope, the small format with eye pattern, but probably the biggest seller is the 5350, which is on every DIT cart known to man, for its flexibility of being able to be powered by 12 volts and low and small footprint. And it can take 2 inputs, can be 4K, can be 3G, anything you want, with LUT capability and being able to view anything you want on the screen. One of the unique things about the Leader side is the screens are not fixed to a quad. The screens are drag and drop. You make the analyzer portion or the picture portion any size you want, drag it where you want, put it where you want, save it, and then save that off as a preset for quick recall. Makes it very nice that you can customize the screen for the work you are currently doing and save that off as a preset. There's input with 4 different SDI inputs running in a quad view for each input. Here's a SDI and IP input, and primarily in this case, looking at ANT's data, and on the right-hand side, looking at the IP, you can see that the captions are missing. So it's really easy to pop out and see if your dash 40 flow is actually doing what it should be doing or working or not. We also have the world's first portable 4K, 25G, 12G waveform monitor. It is a little big, took a little bit of processing to be able to do both 25 gig and 4K. And nice thing about it, though, is we're using standard camera batteries on it. It says portable. I kind of call it luggable. It does have a handle. The nice thing about it is it can be powered via mains, can be powered 12 volt or powered on the battery, and switching power is seamless. If you have it plugged in, you can unplug it if you got a battery sitting on it, and it'll just continue running and allow you to go out and do anything you need from a portable at 12G or 25 gig standpoint. We still
Steve,
have
just a polite reminder, Steve, or past time, if you could.
Okay.
Wrap it up.
Yep. Got it. So we still have the handhelds. We still have a brand new true hybrid sync generator, and want to thank you for your time.
Moving to the next presenter, Add Signal and Nick Pierce. Welcome, Nick. All the way from England.
Wrong, Wales. You should know that. Very
Pardon me.
If I'm not sort of the primary screen you've got, I might need it because I'm not presenting things in a traditional way. So make me your primary screen if you can, if you haven't already, and then we're going to see how this works. I'm taking a bit of a risk. Okay, off we go. So thanks, Roy, for having me. My name is Nick Pierce, and I'm the CRO for UK-based content intelligence company AdSignal, and our name is changing very soon. Not every frame deserves forever, and yet most media organizations we meet have the same invisible problem. Not only are they drowning in content, but often they don't actually know what they own. Which version is right? What does it contain? Is it valuable? Or is it potentially dangerous? Then there's versionitis, which is killing velocity and productivity. Some organizations claim to have hundreds of versions of the same piece of content, 12 different codecs, language variants, compliance cuts, edits of edits, you name it. Worse still, many have no idea how many versions even exist or which is the one they really need. So what do? They end up making another version. The impact: every duplicate or near duplicate that you keep costs you twice. Once in infrastructure, storage, MAM, encoding, AI processing costs, etc. And once in missed opportunities to monetize the content that's hidden in plain sight. Add to that static video from fixed rig environments, reality TV, sports, news, wildlife and documentaries, hour upon hour of nothing. Talented editors wasting time hunting for moments of change. Millions, possibly billions of static frames stored forever on very costly, highly redundant storage. Waste for waste's sake, killing efficiency, killing budgets, slowly eating the planet. What's worse is that you then go and send the vast majority of those redundant frames, those superfluous frames, to one or many AI services to enrich content that's already been enriched. With most AI platforms processing 1 frame a second of video content, you're paying for duplication, paying for missing detail, and paying for missing ESG and sustainability goals. The other problem, bringing stuff from the archive is maybe it should stay buried. Those shows from the 70s, not so sure they've aged that well. Suddenly, content becomes both expensive and risky. This isn't a storage problem alone. It's an intelligence gap. What's missing is content intelligence. Understanding what content is, not just where it lives. That can save money, save time, reduce carbon by processing only what matters. This is exactly what Match does. Any moment now. There it is. Match is a video intelligence and deduplication SaaS solution that helps you store only what you need and get clarity on what you own. Using perceptual fingerprinting, Match identifies duplicate and near duplicate content across format, codec, or resolution. It avoids versionitis by helping you to keep the highest quality version that your organization needs. It can also create unique frames to send to AI services and detect moments of change in static video. We call that content thinning. There's no AI involved, just hardcore maths. Then we have Enrich. It takes those unique frames identified by Match to generate rich, granular metadata. It optimizes AI workflows by sending less data whilst delivering better results. Finally, we have Foresight, which leverages the metadata generated by Match and Enrich to detect people, objects, themes, and context risks. It enables safe reuse of your library, ensuring compliance and governance, enabling you to keep the content that really holds the value. Match provides content intelligence with compound benefits, with real measurable impact. Up to 60% reduction in storage and operational costs, 75% or more in AI processing and carbon. Faster reuse, lower risk, higher monetization. Gone are the days you can sell products to one person in an organization. These days there are multiple stakeholders that need to understand the benefits, the CTO, the CFO, and the creative teams. We have benefits for the entire team. Less waste, more clarity, smarter content every single day. AdSignal can help turn your video libraries and disparate pools of unidentified content from a cost center to a compounding asset. That is content intelligence in action. I'd be more than welcome to answer any questions or give you a demo. Thank you. Deal.
Okay, and next, Flanders Scientific, Wes Donahue. Welcome, Wes.
Hi. Hello, everyone. As Roy mentioned, I am Wes Donahue. I'm the Key Accounts Sales Manager for Flanders Scientific. For those of you who may not be that familiar with us, FSI has been providing reference video monitoring systems to the broadcast and motion picture industry since 2005. Let me share my screen here. So we offer LCD and OLED monitors from 16 to 65 inches. Today, I'm going to give you a brief overview of our new XMP-C series reference monitors. And to kick that off, let's take a look at an introductory video here.
Our flagship XMP series was designed for on-set production and demanding post workflows, where a front keypad and processed monitor outputs are truly beneficial. But control rooms and OB trucks call for something different, a series of monitors that are lighter to mount, cleaner to tile, and have fewer exposed controls to fiddle with. Introducing the Flanders Scientific XMP-C series, C for compact, available in 3 models, the XMP-270C, XMP-310C, and XMP-550C. Built for broadcast control rooms, trucks, and select post environments, the XMP-C series delivers the same XMP QD OLED performance in a more streamlined, lighter, and more affordable form factor for these installations. To get there, we made 4 focused changes. 1. A simplified rear-mounted 5-way controller replaces the front keypad. 2. Processed monitor outputs are removed, but clean loop-throughs remain. 3. Speakers are removed while audio out stays. 4. A streamlined rectangular chassis designed for tight multi-monitor layouts, especially for clean edge-to-edge tiling. The result? Up to 2 inches shorter and up to 4 pounds lighter, depending on model. For more information, please visit flandersscientific.com.
So I thought it might be helpful to give you a brief overview of the quantum dot display technology as we are implementing it. Quantum dots are minuscule semiconductor nanocrystals. They're just a few nanometers wide. And to put that into perspective, a single strand of human hair is about 80 to 100,000 nanometers wide. So you can fit millions of atoms across just 1 nanometer. The unique optical and electronic properties of quantum dots change based on their diameter, allowing them to absorb and emit light with exceptional precision, creating vibrant, tunable colors for displays. Unlike typical RGB or RGBW OLEDs, quantum dot OLED panels use only a blue self-emitting layer. This is due to the fact that blue OLED has the greatest light energy. When the light emitted from the blue OLED subpixels passes through a layer of red and green quantum dot particles that are directly above, the result is an RGB pixel that retains the energy of the blue light and converts it to narrow spectrum red and green light. Since quantum dots are so energy efficient, virtually no brightness is lost in those two color transformations. The result is a true RGB OLED display without the variable luminance output of discrete RGB OLED subpixels, the brightness loss of color filters, or the lost color volume introduced by white subpixel structures. Without the need for color filters like those employed on LCD and WOLED panel structures, the quantum dot OLED display is able to emit RGB light in all directions, resulting in the widest possible viewing angle of any flat panel display to date. QD-OLED is also an ideal display technology for both SDR and HDR mastering and QC. With consumers increasingly expecting higher picture quality to keep up with advancements in display technologies, HDR 10, 10 Plus, and Dolby Vision have already rolled out across most streaming platforms, and broadcasters will begin moving toward advanced OTA video formats like HLG and advanced HDR with a gradual rollout of next-gen TV. So HDR will become a vital feature for delivering premium viewing experiences. So that's pretty much our XMP series in a nutshell.
Okay, and next up is someone everyone knows also from Vitaspine, Eric Reel. Welcome, Eric. Great to see you.
Well, good afternoon. Thanks again, Roy. Thanks again to SMPTE for inviting us to be part of the showcase. Again, we're Vitaspine. I'm Eric Reel. I'm the sales director for North America. Today, I'm going to give you a very, very quick overview of VitaNet, our media management platform. So Vitaspine is based in Cologne, Germany. As of 2025, we are wholly owned by the Lumen Group based out of Mississauga with a plethora of other communications and media companies like Wide Orbit, Wiz TV, Velocix Transmedia Dynamics. We have two different product portfolios, VitaNet, which we're going to talk about. The second portfolio is called BMS, or Broadcast Management Systems. It consists of tools for rights scheduling, advertising, analytics, and monetization. Happy to provide more info on both. Just shoot me a quick email. You can see my email address on this slide. So as you can see here, VitaNet can be deployed in a wide range of applications, from quick turn production management for sports and news, large enterprise asset management and archive management systems, full content ingest, and supply chains. So what does it look like? Pretty busy slide, but starting at the center of our diagram, VitaNet is based around VitaCore, which is a cloud-native object repository, a state-of-the-art media management backend that functions as a highly adaptable and scalable foundation layer. It operates as an open REST API service, so anyone can design their own applications and interfaces. You don't actually have to license all of ours. At the same time, all of our applications use the same REST API, and you can see it. It's published on our website. All the VitaNet products run in Kubernetes, so they can be deployed in the cloud. We offer managed SaaS. We offer bring your own cloud environments, traditional on-prem clusters, and yes, also hybrid if you want to minimize cloud consumption costs and leverage existing on-prem infrastructures. So the next layer out on the left is our service layer. Starting at the top, we've got Vidacoder, very simply our transcoder. We've got VCS, which is VidaNet Cognitive Services, which enables tight AI integrations between partners like AWS, 12 Labs, DeepVA. Then we've got VidaStream, enabling our renderless workflows across the platform. And finally, our VidaCore server agent, which enables that cloud to on-prem workflows and vice versa, which you can do in a single system. Moving to the outer layer, it highlights our user application. So Video Editor and Media Portal, we'll see a short video on. Video Editor is really a fully featured web editor, so you don't have to bring quick-turn projects into a craft editor. Media Portal is our main interface into the system for media management, search, collaboration, metadata enrichment. Then we have Helmet for Adobe project management. We have our media logger. VidaWave, which is a new, almost released audio-only editor. We have VidaControl, which is for controlling third-party ingest servers and ingest scheduling. And then finally, VidaFlow, which is our BPMN workflow engine and orchestration layer. So that was a lot in a very short period of time. Here's a video on Video Editor and Media Portal. And again, all of that is being done in web applications. So thank you very much. Do we have any questions?
All right, we're down to the final two. Next up, A10 Networks and Todd Chapman.
All right, can everybody see that? I'll just go into presentation mode. There we go.
Yes.
There we go. All right, everybody. Thank you for having me today. As we all know, today's digital world demands security. It demands uptime all at once, and A10 exists to make that happen. I mean, the world has zero tolerance for downtime, and at the end of the day, you got to have things secure. You got to have things proper, and it makes sense. Obviously, in the media world, you guys know that huge. So what I'm going to do is try and go through in 5 minutes or less, kind of what we do, and give you a little bit of a sense. Our strategic sort of mission is to deliver business critical applications and secure, available, and efficient, specifically focused on multi-cloud transformation. And really that goes to critical business requirements: business resilience, continuance, regulatory compliance, secure and efficient operations, OpEx, CapEx. Everybody talks about that all the time. Let me go to the next slide here. We focus in 3 different areas. Obviously, infrastructure is one of the big ones: cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and all these things are things that some folks wouldn't be thinking about. But at the end of the day, it's the guts and the ingredients that really run your business. And when you look at specifically in the streaming, entertainment business, broadcast industry, protecting that media is huge, from DDoS attacks, bot attacks, application delivery optimization, secure content delivery, infrastructure security, as I spoke about, next generation web application firewalls. Eric was just talking about application and the web, APIs that a lot of folks haven't even really considered in the long term. Let's go to the next one here. And I've tried to translate that into the value of media companies. And when you look at scalability for peak events and live streams, operational efficiency and centralized management, protection of brand reputation is huge, digital revenue through proactive cyber defense, obviously latency, quality of experience for the end users is huge, and regulatory compliance. I mean, that's only a few, but we do have, a lot more from a use case perspective. We have definitely have a broad range of products that go across appliance, bare metal, virtual cloud, or containers, depending upon your environment and your use case. And we have a centralized management and orchestration and automation platform that runs it all for you. And then, there's hardware, as I said, there's software versions of this, but this is really the lineup, and it comes down to, sizing and specific use case discussions around what is the use case, what is the requirements. And we'll figure out that in terms of, I didn't put any pricing down today, folks, because at the end of the day, it comes down to what does the requirement look like, and how long's a piece of rope, right? Once we get down inside your specific use case, we can deal with that. But some of our customers who are very happy, 9 of the top 10 telecom operators, 8 of the top 10 cloud providers. I mean, you can read along the bottom, and you'll recognize many of them from the media and broadcast industry. Comcast, we got our friends at Rogers here in Canada. Cisco is a customer. And one of our biggest, obviously, customers is Microsoft and Xbox. And these all translate into, how do we protect some of the most popular gaming systems? As you guys probably all have kids, as I do, they're always gaming. And then once it goes down, it's like, 5-alarm fire, right? So from here, again, that's a lot to cram into 5 minutes, but I'd love to continue the conversation. Reach out to me anytime. Take a screenshot of this. I'll be glad to provide my details, or this presentation for that matter, and get into something that is of prominence now in many organizations from a secure uptime and a business continuance perspective. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight. And again, I appreciate your time, and I would look forward to anybody that would like to drill down deeper in what we do.
All right, and next up, and the headline act, the final act, and so again, someone everyone knows, Lee Whitcomb, obviously heavily involved in SMPTE. Also, welcome, Lee.
So good afternoon. My name is Lee Whitcomb from Mindberg. Neil Harlan from Interfax Systems also assisted with this presentation. Interfax Systems is the Canadian distributor from Mindberg, and both of us are located in the Toronto area. Many of you may not know Mindberg. Mindberg is located in Germany. It's a leading supplier of time and synchronization solutions. We've experienced across many industries. Today we're going to focus on our broadcast and professional AV market solutions. Okay. Mindberg sort of has 3 main platforms for this industry, and they'll handle your requirements. They'll allow you to continue using existing equipment, or allow you to effectively move to IP in 2050 and 2110 world. Mindberg offers solutions to the broadcast market, the 3 of them I just described. So we've got the LAN type NTP server, our IMS modular platform, and our microsync. These can also generate BTP in accordance with 2059-2 and AS67. The microsync half rack, or HRU product line, is a half rack unit ideally suited for OB fans, and we have more products under development. Mindberg works across many industries: broadcast, power, telecom, finance, and data centers. A key advantage is that we can use the knowledge from one sector to help solve problems in another. And although these industries have standards and stereotypes customized for their industry, you'd be surprised how much they have in common. So drilling down into the into the IMS LAN time modular platform. We have various modules that you can mix and match. So typically we're synchronizing to GNS systems such like GPS and Galileo. The setup is very simple. You just mount the antenna and things will be synchronized. However, in today's world, there's potential for jamming and spoofing of these GNS signals. Weinberg has developed several technologies to address this. Here lies the advantage of working with different industries. One group may identify an issue before another, and we can bring solutions to you before you even know there's a problem. Just sort of quickly going through the various cards. So the clock card, which can also do NTP, so it can do like 20,000 NTP requests, so it can handle like your whole facility. We have the best in class support for profiles, so we handle the default profiles, the broadcast, the power, the telecom, and automotion and automation. We have very accurate BTP down to 8 nanoseconds of timestamp accuracy. We have various modules for legacy signals in broadcast. So we have an input module supporting Blackburst LTC. We've got an output module supporting the different flavors of your various outputs you may want in broadcast. We have other output modules. We have one for doing word clock, another one for doing DARs. So you can basically mix and match depending on how many of these different legacy formats you need. This comes with monitoring. So you can monitor the nodes, you can monitor your system, you can do alarming. We make a product called BTP Track Count, which allows you to do monitoring of your system. Very powerful software. Then we have the MicroSync, which is a more dedicated platform for broadcast. It's available in a 1RU unit, so it has various outputs which are sort of give you a good combination of what you would want for the broadcast industry. It's available in a half rack or the full rack unit, as I mentioned. The half rack is very sort of cost effective if you just need BTP or you just need a few different outputs. We actually, with this MicroSync product, won an award at IPC. Sorry, not at IPC, at NAB this year. So I appreciate the opportunity to present some of the aspects of the timing solutions we offer. I'd say thanks to Toronto for allowing us to participate. A reminder that Neil Harlan from Interfax Systems is our Canadian distributor, so if you have any sales questions or product questions, you can reach out to him. I'm an expert in the broadcast field, been around for 30 plus years, also participated in the standards. So if you have any questions on the standards or designing BTP systems, I'm happy to help out. And with that, back over to you, Roy.
All right. Thank you, Lee. Great stuff. And my goodness, what a great turnout today. We had I think 127 registered. We were up at over 100 in attendees today, so really impressive. We want to know what you thought of this. This was new. Something we were trying. The response was great, but we want to know, all of you that attended and watched, what you think of it. So please let us know, either by email or come to the social meetup, or through our LinkedIn page. But we certainly want to know what you thought, and maybe we'll tweak this format, and hopefully do it again. So thank you all for attending. Hope you enjoyed it. So thank you. Stay well. See you soon. Again, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you for joining. And again, please do share your feedback. Have a great day, everyone.